G'day, V-Dubs here, and how you doing? Welcome to the channel, and in today's video we're going to see if we can fix a air-cooled engine that stalls at the traffic lights. The other day I was driving the Kombi. I use it up to the train station and back into work. And when you got to any of the traffic lights, sorry about the wind, I'm going to voice over from here. When you get to traffic lights, the vehicle wants to cut out, and if you blip the throttle, you're able to keep the engine running. So that's a clear sign that the float in your carb is not set correctly, so it's letting extra fuel in, which is then overflowing. A second sign was also the vehicle stank of petrol, and if you look underneath there you can see actually the fuel's been dripping out, overflowing from the carb and actually dripping down the motor and onto the floor. So just opening up and having a look, that's the carb there. So you can see we've taken off the fuel hose, and the fuel's actually been pouring out of that join just there. You can see the mess the fuel's made. Just the spray and the vapor is all over the motor. So just looking here, we've already taken off the nuts which hold the carb on. So now we're going to take the carb off, and the air cleaner should be loose. There we go. So that's the air cleaner. Now wiggle the carb off. We have already taken off the throttle mechanism. And just pulling it off. Sorry, it's not so easy with one hand. It's a little bit out of shot. And there we are. There's the carb taken off. We're just going to put some paper towel down the throat just to stop any dirt getting into the engine. Alright, there's our prize. Let's take it inside and have a look. So, just a little bit about carburetors. So that's a Solex, and the Kombi has twin Solexes. 35, which is usually the diameter of the throat. So the fuel comes in, and this is the float bowl. And the reason for the float bowl is that if you accelerate hard, the little accelerator pump, which is this thing here, gives a little squirt of raw fuel. So if you're just relying on your input all the time, you'll probably get starvation and you'll get bogging. So that's why there's this little reservoir, which is called the float bowl. And so there's a little reservoir of fuel here, so that when you accelerate hard and you need an extra burst of fuel, you've got a bit of reserve. As that runs down, it then fills up and so on. And they call it the float bowl because the float sits in here. To stop it getting too full, there's a float that comes up. I'll show you now when I open it. And it's almost like your cistern in your toilet. Rather than letting it overflow, it turns the fuel off. Now if it doesn't do that, which is what this carb is not doing, it actually overflows and down into your motor. And that's why it wants to bog and stall, because it's actually getting too much fuel at the time of idle. So that's why this is very important, and that's why when you feel like when your car comes to a stop at traffic lights or whatever, stop street, and the car wants to stall and you've got to keep revving it to keep it going, it's usually because your float bowl is not turning off the fuel and the fuel is overflowing and flooding your motor. And then the top of the carb comes off. So what's happening is this is your needle and seat, and this is the float, and I'll just take that out. And this is your float. So what happens is that's the float bowl or the reservoir. Wow, look at the dirt in that. Alright, well that's probably part of the problem as well. It's filthy. So what happens is as that float comes up, that little piece there pushes on that and stops the flow of fuel coming in to this chamber. And what's happening with ours is that this is not coming up to cut off the flow. So what we'll need to do is clean this out, and all that sand I bet is in the jets. So there's the main jet over there. Need to undo that to get to it. It's probably an air correction jet with an emulsion tube. So yeah, let me give this a clean. And the best way to clean these, I find, is I don't have an ultrasonic cleaner, but if you just use carb cleaner through all the little holes and gaps, and you actually then spray it with compressed air just to make sure all the passages are open. Okay, so I've got this bucket just to control the mess of it. So that's the main jet in there. It's a 13 spanner. Just undo that. Oops. And then inside there is the main jet. See, there's dirt in it, but you can still see through it. It's coming through on the camera. So it's not completely blocked, but it is a bit dirty. That's it. It's not blocked as well, but it is pretty dirty. So, yeah. So let's give this a spray. Oh, look at that. I'm going to also just hit this little jet. Oh, much better. Do the main jet as well. Let's just see if that's freed up the it has. So you can hear now, I can actually blow through that, and it okay, that's great. I suppose it begs the question now, what does the other carb look like? Yeah. Alright, what I'm going to do is blow some air through these and let them dry off. It's all cleaned up, and I've blown air through. You can actually hear the compressor running in the background. So let's put it back together. Float's moving, so if it's down, I don't know if you could hear that, but you can hear when the float's down, the air's going through. When it's up, it actually cuts off. So I think this is ready to go back in the car. Look at the dirt that was in that carburetor. It's unbelievable, isn't it? Well, I don't have a fuel filter at the moment, but this must be the rubbish that's coming through the petrol tank. So yeah, I'll need to get a fuel filter, or just check the fuel filter that's on there, because this shouldn't be getting through to your carbs. Wow. Alright, let's put it back in. Should be ready to go. Fire it up. Hope everything works. Hopefully it's not dripping any fuel. Doesn't look like it was. I mean, before it was just absolutely covered in fuel. So, but I suppose we won't know until we drive it. Okay, so we've connected the battery now, and let's see if it'll fire up. just want to check the oil, because if fuel's been running down, there might be a chance that there's actually fuel mixed with the oil. So let's see. Oil level's quite high. So you could smell fuel on the oil and on the dipstick. So there's definitely fuel going down through the cylinders into the oil. So we decided to give the car a full oil change with fresh oil before we started using it again. Alright, thanks so much for watching. Take care and God bless. Thanks again for watching, and be sure to like, subscribe, and leave me any comments.